evening, everybody. How we
Hello.
doing?
Welcome, everybody. Let us know in the chat if you guys are here, if you can hear us well. We would love to see some people typing over in the chat. If you all have questions, I will be monitoring tonight, making sure that Caleb and I see those as we get ready to make some really cool announcements. But before we do, we got to shout out, guess who? The man, the myth, the legend, hailing from Harrisburg, Illinois. It's Sonus, Dr. No, Nick Oldham. We love this man because this man believed in us before anyone else believed in us. This is one of our partners, actually, that is assisting us as we go after what we feel Jesus has given us to do. Caleb, how are you doing tonight?
Doing great. I'm really excited. Got a couple of updates, and then the huge announcement, the casting update, which I feel like is a first step in a lot of ways towards seeing some picking up some steam, and feels like this person has sort of been in our corner since day one, and it's been interesting to grow into a deeper relationship, and then find a position for them to be a part of the project. And so hopefully there's as much excitement out there as there is for what I'm feeling.
In terms of our journey, at what point, like place us in Lord of the Rings? Where are we? Have we gotten out of the Shire yet?
We are not out of the Shire yet.
We aren't even out of the Shire. Has Bilbo already done his birthday speech? Where are we in terms of making this project right now?
That's right, man. Our feet are in the grass. We haven't yet hit the desert. I feel like as we're continuing to work on some of the campaign fundraising content, we're going to be putting that out here in a couple of weeks, and it's gonna feel like we're setting sail. We got to just leave the Shire and start on the adventure. And I know, Kyler, you're having conversations with folks, and it sounds like there's a lot of interest and intrigue. Having conversations with distributors about David, A King's Calling, our project we're kind of getting ready to jump into. A lot of exciting announcements about that. First, just want to give an update on the 10th, as we've been talking about it for a little bit. If you have the opportunity to share, like, subscribe, go to Redeem TV. Our first short film has been leased. It's kind of purchased, and it's showing here at redeemtv.com. And just a wonderful company that we've had the chance to get to know a little bit. And if you are looking for the 10th, you can use that in the search function, or you just go to new to Redeem TV. So we're some of the new kids on the block. So they're making a space for us there. Love to see your comments and your thoughts. I just had a guy that kind of approached me yesterday and just said, "Hey, man, I was looking for your short film. I couldn't find it." And so I got to explain to him, actually, it's not on YouTube anymore. It's now on Redeem TV.
Very cool. So whenever you see, if you go back to that graphic, let me figure out
which one. This
one? That one. Whenever you see the 10th, right up there next to Mary Mayer, how does that feel? No, it's pretty incredible whenever you see where we started and what we've accomplished, and you get to see the title of our short film, and to know, I mean, there's something special about it, to know that we've started small, but the direction we're heading is where God has called us to. That's a big part of what we're going to be announcing tonight. We don't want to delay it too much. Is there anybody that would like to know what the big information is? Maybe you could chat in the side. Any guesses on what the information is? And if you know, keep it quiet.
I think people are starting to put two and two together. We've been getting a lot of
we are going to reveal. Caleb, is it all right if I tell him? Can I tell him?
Yep. Absolutely.
We're going to reveal what I have been lovingly with my brother referring to as the brown sugar to the cookie. Okay, this is the flour to the biscuits and gravy of the David story. We have a key role that is officially under contract. We have cast the character of Samuel for our film, which is a huge one, and we're going to get to see a lot of things from Samuel's perspective. We get to see a lot of how God operated with Samuel, and the way that the prophet, who heard perfectly from God, heard from God, and what that would have looked like. And so without a further ado, Caleb, do you have anything that you want to say before we
We've signed a contract, which means something's got to happen. That's what I hear. That's what they say in the biz. So Steve Shermett is going to be coming on in the role of Samuel the Prophet. Welcome, Steve.
Look at
Thank
that.
you so much. Brown sugar to your cookie.
That's right. That's right. You can't have cookies without brown sugar. We can't have David without Samuel. Okay.
The chocolate
You're it.
chip to your cookie.
Steve, it's
I
great
am
to
thrilled
have
to
you
be
on,
on, guys. It's a
Yeah.
pleasure and a blessing. I'm so glad we're working together. This is good stuff.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. I feel like the first time Kyler started telling me a little bit about you, I saw the image and I was like, man, this is very intriguing. This is an interesting looking guy. He's got an interesting background. And if you don't mind, Steve, let's play a little bit of your theatrical trailer just to kind of fill folks in on some stuff that you've been a part of. Maybe they're looking at you and saying, oh, hey, this guy looks kind of familiar, you know?
I do not mind.
I'm a psycho?
Hella psycho. What? I'm an LA rabbi.
And don't get me started on people.
You think human beings shouldn't be here?
You know what the native tribes called this region? Nothing! Because they knew better than to try to live here. I say we return LA.
You mind telling me what you're doing out here?
Oh, I'm just coming from San Lucas. Me and my wife doing the resort thing for a week.
Your wife. And you were looking for it out there.
No, I didn't have a signal, so I was just hoping to get a bar or two.
Well, it's a hell of a drive. Where are you heading to?
We live just in Sahuarita.
Living in Sahuarita, you don't want to pass through our Nogales station? Same one you came through on your way in.
He told tax collectors and soldiers not to extort money or collect more than they're authorized
They
to.
were present as he said this?
Yes. And he told the commoners to share food and clothing with those who have
He's
none.
preaching a populist message.
Interesting.
And yet it is you.
Would you like to come in?
So Steve comes to us as a veteran actor, having worked in film, television, as an actor, producer. He's done some directing. You might have seen him in some of these projects before. Amazed by You, Pulled from Darkness, The Righteous 12, NBC's Mr. Mayor, little show you probably never heard of called The Chosen. And Steve, it's great to have you. It really is, man. So
Thanks, guys.
yeah,
And
go ahead.
I wanted to give a shout out to April. I know she's on here. She's been guessing and poking and questioning for several weeks now, and I've just been so well done, April. Well done.
Well, thanks for joining us, April. We appreciate it. So, Steve, I think the question some people might be asking is, when did you hear about Twin Bolt?
You know, I actually went back on Facebook today, Kyler, and I looked at our conversation, and I dragged it all the way to the top. We connected August 1st of last year.
Yep.
So just a little over a year ago, a year and 2 weeks ago, we had our first correspondence. And I don't know who on Facebook pointed out the 10th to me. Maybe it just came across one of my streams. Maybe one of my friends shared it. But I was at the premiere, the live premiere of it. And then I reached out to you guys and said, this was good stuff. And then you guys were like, yeah, and we've been looking at you too. We're working on this little project about David. Any chance you might be interested? And I was like, oh yeah, I might be interested. So yeah, our magic started a little over a year ago together.
So what was it about the 10th you felt like made you want to reach out? Like what was it about that project?
It is quality filmmaking. The technical and the artistic side of it. The story itself was unique and it wasn't formulaic. It grabbed your attention and it brought you in. Mm. And I also noticed that even though it was done on a very low budget, it wasn't cheap. Mm. You guys are interested and capable of making a quality project, even on a shoestring budget. Mm-hmm. And so with the creativity and the quality, and then finding out it was your first film, I'm like, oh, I got to work with these guys. These guys are going somewhere. They got nothing but a bright future, and I want to partner with them. Yeah. And so I was glad that the feeling was mutual and we were able to connect.
Yeah, that does mean a lot to us. I know it was surprising even to our actors that we had on the set of the short film. They had done a lot of work, even bigger names, a couple of them that had worked on some shows for Netflix and Hulu. that were on set. And one of the things that really struck them was just how well we were running the set. Just felt like it was very organized and it felt very professional. And some of that might have been my brother and my insecurity. We're like, boy, if we're going to pull all these people in here and make a short film and it'd be our first thing, this better be top of the line, And so, but I can encourage you and I can assure you that it only goes up from here. So, and you got the opportunity actually to audition for this project. But before we talk about that auditioning, whenever you saw the 10th, what were some moments from the short film that kind of, in terms of the production, that kind of stuck with you? And the only reason I'm asking is because Caleb and I are trying to make sort of a name for ourselves in a kind of storytelling that we're going to continue into David. But I'd like to hear, what are some of the scenes that stood out to you as different or unique?
Well, it's been a year since I've seen it.
Sure.
So, and I haven't seen it on Redeem TV again yet, though I've been telling other people to do so.
Yeah.
So it's the story. Oftentimes, I don't know about you guys, but if you sit down and watch a procedural, within 5 minutes, that guy did it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you spend the rest of the movie or the show trying to figure out how they did it. And it's usually, okay, this one's going to fall in love with this one's going to die, and they're all going to live happily ever after. When you watch 10th, you're like, I don't know what's happening next. I don't know where this is going.
Yeah.
But it's not in a confusing way that makes me want to change the channel. It's in an engaging way that makes me want to see.
That's
What
awesome.
are they doing with this? How is this all going to come together?
Yeah, that's awesome that you would say that. I know that something that's very important to my brother as a director and a cinematographer is he really wants to honor his audience and treat them with great respect, but also treat them that they're intelligent. There are some things that sometimes are handed to us in film and in media that doesn't necessarily need to be. And so I know that's a big part of the way that my brother and I are excited to create Even David. There are some moments and some things that happened where for a little bit you're going, I don't know where I am. I don't know what's happening. Some of our big influences are the same way. And so, yeah, even though I know it was a while ago, thank you for honoring me with that response. But
for sure.
Kim, did you have anything?
Yeah, I just feel like I hear that a lot, and I have heard that a lot too. And I think about different interviews I've heard Dallas Jenkins talk about. You have to wait around a little bit, right? Like I think Christian audiences are so used to being spoon-fed very clearly what's the message of this project. It just feels like they almost immediately want to know what's going to happen, where are we at, who are these people. And I think with the 10th, we really wanted to sort of subvert that a little bit and let you follow along on this journey of figuring out who these people are and what they're preparing for. We immediately get thrown in and we see this guy who's sort of broken and destitute, and he's exhausted, and he's just saying, I'll try again. I'll go back out. I'll see if I can find this lamb. And there's like a little bread trail, right? Like, okay, finding a lamb. When was a time in the Bible someone needed to have a lamb? Right. And you start to get information over, arrival's coming in 12 hours. What's the arrival? Like what I don't, and so it's sort of enjoyable to see. And what we've heard from some people say, like I had that aha moment, right?
Yeah.
Like as things play out, you go, I know exactly where. And then he's saying things like, Moses said, we're supposed to do it this way. And she's like, I don't know if I mess this up. And finally, it's not even finally, it's a 25-minute short film. So it's not like people are left in the dark for more than 5 minutes. But
you are able to wrap into that. Oh, the story's done now. They solved the problem. No, they didn't. Why didn't they? What happened? What's going on here?
Right.
So that was pretty cool too.
And one of my greatest joys was to have a Jewish synagogue director who read the script and said, I feel like Adonai reminds me so much of my mother. And also, I feel like I've never really thought about this story from the perspective of how hard it would have been to find a spotless lamb. It's not like they're just everywhere at this point, like they're
running around on the streets like a stray cat or something.
Right, exactly. They're slaves in Egypt, and it's tough. And I think for us, that's the playground within the Bible, is allowing to kind of bring some authenticity and some genuine feeling. When we did our audition, I'll go ahead and bridge into that a little bit. It was kind of, we had a couple of our scenes that we're going to see Samuel in David a King's Calling, and we're kind of watching how is Steve approaching this. And it was fun to see you, give it, an incredible shot, and then take direction, and then completely steer course that opposite direction. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah. So Steve can do this. Steve can hit this character right where we need him to. And there's some consensus still being developed about whether or not we will shave your head bald. I know that there's a couple of people who are opposed and one who are for. I don't want to say who that is.
We don't know. We don't know who's for and who's against.
No, we don't. We have no idea.
I'm just looking for the best quality acting, portraying these characters in a way where people can fall into and in love with this story, as opposed to get pulled back and go, wait. Okay, that's supposed to be Samuel. Like, okay, that, I'm not sure I believe this, and so we believe that you're bringing a believability to that character, which we're excited for.
Absolutely. Yeah. What was the audition process like for you, Steve, on your end? Was it fun, intimidating, scary? What was that like, being with the Cook brothers for an hour as we put you through the ringers?
Well, leading up to it, it was scary. I was intimidated. I didn't know if I was what you were looking for, even though you thought I was what you were looking for. And then, I interpreted it the way I interpreted it, and I brought it to you. It's like, what if this isn't what they're looking for? But when I saw you guys smiling and getting goosebumps and giving positive feedback, and then I brought you my game, and then you upped my game. Your coaching and directing was very good for me. I liked your style, your approach, and the quality. You helped me bring out my A game, and I appreciated that. And so I think this film is going to, at least from my part, with you guys coaching me and directing me as we go through this, it's going to rock.
I appreciate that. Kyle, you mind if I just do a quick video reminder of kind of setting the tone of David, like what this is going to be like, and we can talk about that.
Do we have a video that could do such things? Do we have one of those?
We've got something. So the tone here, I think, is it's going to be gritty. It's going to be earthy. It's going to be, I think, a biblically accurate representation of David. But we're also going to kind of play with these feelings of fantasy, which I think the Bible does such an amazing job bringing these stories to life in a way where you want to tell these stories. Like, and you think about the Old Testament and the people of this time, how they passed on stories and these traditions. It was very, kind of like this poetic singing, spoken word, everybody gathered around a fire, families passing down traditions. And, Steve, I think we kind of hit the jackpot. Your experience, coming from Jewish faith, having that lens, having that historical knowledge, you're going to be stepping on not only as an actor, but as a producer to kind of help us make sure like everyone believes the story that we're telling.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to giving my feedback as the script gets through, rendition after rendition after rendition. I've already given you some thoughts here and there, and look forward to doing more. So I think telling a story in such a way that people aren't distracted by minutia is a good thing. It's not really minutia, but like you were saying, Kyler, about your brother Caleb, He wants to respect the intelligence of his audience. And there are people who are going to watch this who know biblical history, know Jewish history, know archaeology even. And they're going to go, wait a minute, that's a first century Torah scroll. That's not a 500 BC scroll, that kind of thing.
Right, right.
Mhm.
And I think for those people, there's probably very few movies they're going to actually enjoy from the biblical right? Like, because people, they get as close to biblically accurate as they can. But we also are going to, I think, try and bring a relevant, fresh take to the script, where we're seeing them, the brothers wrestling and joking and having a good time, as opposed to maybe just sweating it out, dying in the heat of Israel, out on the hillside of Jerusalem, just trying to fight off bears and lions, and everybody's grumpy. Like we do want to bring what Kyler and I bring to it, which is growing up with lots of brothers, having that humorous side, looking to enjoy each other's company, these characters. We're also writing sisters into the project, which we know David probably had sisters that we know that he had at least a handful. And what was that like, growing up in a family with these brothers just rolling around all the time? And I think it's going to be really fun to see faces start to appear as we're going into the casting process.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that I'm really excited about, is to see really just even as the audience comes together, who we're able to reach with this unique blend of both artistic endeavor, and at the same time it meets biblical accuracy. And so that is something that's very important to us. And I know Steve has heard from us quite a bit on this. We don't want to make any decisions that whenever somebody's going through this would distract them from the story. And yet at the same time, we want to tell the story in a way where it's going to stand on its feet for decades. We want people to be able to go back to this story and to watch it and to watch it and to watch it and to see really what a similar experience that I have whenever I watch Jonathan Rumi in the role of Jesus, where you go, has it ever been done this well? Will it ever be done this well again? Where you look at someone and you go, it's so hard for me to not believe that just is Jesus. They had a really wonderful, it's so funny, a really wonderful video that they put out recently of Gen Z sitting down and just watching, just kind of going through the whole series. And then a really cool moment where Jonathan Rumi walks out. And it's like all these, 20 somethings, all these 22-year-olds, 24-year-olds see Jonathan Rumi. And it's like, they have a reverence for him that's like he's Jesus. And he's going, no, I'm not, I'm just an actor, just pulling it off. But at the same time, we're really hopeful that Steve steps into this role and that people go, man, that is Samuel. That's what was happening. Like, I can't shake it. This is the best it's ever going to be done. That's our hope.
I hadn't thought of it that way. Whereas Jonathan is now our reference point for Jesus, I might be the reference point for Samuel. Wow.
That's wonderful. Yep. If we have any say in it, that will be the case.
That's cool.
Just kind of an update for people that are watching, and maybe you're retroactively watching this, and so you didn't catch it live, but you're watching it on our page, which is great. If you have any questions, send us a message. We love to interact with our audience, and we love to help people to better understand exactly what we're doing. But in order to kind of understand the scope of this, Caleb and I did a short film on $5,000. We're getting ready to end sort of a fundraising phase of this project where we're hoping to raise $250,000. And so if you take what we were able to do at 5,000 and you multiply that by, I'm not good at math, there you go. That's how much better the quality is going to get. It's going to be us really taking every facet, every shot, every actor's decision, and kind of even what Steve was describing. We want to elevate everything. We want to take everything to the highest possible echelon that we can get it. And I know, Steve, being in that meeting with you and watching you read some of the lines, I know that you're going to be able to take it there. We're going to make sure of it. And you just have the talent. You have the natural talent. I do got another question for you though. Steve, we'd love to hear from you. The other thing that's different about this project is that we're going from, 5 actors to 25, I think we're at right now. And just kind of wondering, what does it feel like to be a lead role of a cast of over 25 actors. What does that feel like for you to know your face is going to be maybe not the David, the Iron Man size, but you're going to be Samuel. You're right here on the poster. What does that feel like?
I got to take a lead role in The Righteous 12. I mean, there were 12 of us, but I was one of 3 who had a lot more of the dialogue and a lot more of the story. And I loved it. I thrived on getting on set and actually having something to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just for a day, but day after day after day. I loved it. And it's an honor, to be able to step into a role that's this meaty and this significant and has the potential to be a top billed and top rated television series.
Yeah.
I know it can be. We just see what God chooses to have happen. But I'm thrilled. I'm excited about it. And a year from now,
it's God willing, right? Like, we're just doing what we can to present our creativity, our skill sets. We feel like, man, God could be calling us to do this. We go to fundraising. We put our best foot forward. We cast vision for what we want to accomplish. We're sending the script out to different folks. And, so far, I think it's been really interesting to get people's response because, I think it sort of takes them aback where they're like, oh, this is 60 minutes of content leading up to David being anointed. Like, I thought it would be, the first episode, David is anointed and then kills Goliath. And then we move on into David's life. And I just don't feel like that character gets enough justice by running them through so much so quickly. Like, I really want us to be able to understand that moment when David kills Goliath, what that actually meant for everyone, right? And you can't play that out in just an hour. I think that's where the films sort of come up shy is who is Samuel? Where did he come from? What was his experience like as a child being given over to the church? And now he's essentially just this nomadic prophet walking and doing God's bidding every day, and also God's presence and power and authority. This is pre-Jesus. And so, I mean, people were terrified when God was around. What's that experience like being this, war-torn vet of a prophet, having to deal with everybody's junk all of the time, having to be the mediator, jumping in, and also having this tiny glimmer of hope for this idea of a king. And
something, it might have been a while since people read about Samuel and David and Saul. Samuel loved Saul.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was rejected as king, it broke his heart, broke his spirit. And then he anoints David. And now, if he's not a man of God, he's going to hate David or despise David or treat him as some cast-off.
Yeah.
But David comes to Samuel when Saul's trying to kill him, and he protects David.
Mm-hmm.
So this conflict that must have been going on within Samuel, brokenness, love, struggle, it's pretty rich. It's some deep human and spiritual stuff going on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lots of play.
So that's what our Samuel is thinking about as an actor, by the way, for those of you that wonder if Steve is good for the character. He's thinking about Samuel. Samuel's thinking about Samuel. This is getting very meta. I love it. Steve, I do want to give a moment. We're going to be casting a lot of roles for this film. You have David, you have all the brothers, you have Jesse and Nitzevit, his wife, David's mom. You have
King Saul.
There's some neighbors that are going to be there. What has your experience been like working with Caleb and I, and what's something that you would say those actors, as we're kind of reaching out and trying to get a feel for bringing other individuals on, what would you tell them?
In fact, I would encourage you, as you pursue some seasoned actors who may be a little leery of working with new filmmakers, give them my email address or tell them to hit me up on Facebook. And that's actually happened several times for me with The Chosen. Hey, what's it like working on Dallas's set? What's it like being on cast of The Chosen? And then somebody recently did ask me, somebody that you might have been pursuing for a role, about what I thought of you guys. And then you told this person that I was coming on as a producer, and that immediately gave this person some peace because,
Yeah.
we already had a relationship. So long story short, working with you guys is going to be great. From my hour and a half with you during the audition, it was fun. It was pleasant. It was hard work. Our time together now, you get my sense of humor. I get your sense of humor. This is good.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Caleb, you want to jump in?
No, I think I want to make sure that we give people time to ask questions if they have questions. The goal here is to just announce Steve's going to be working with us. We're going to be partnering up on this. Got a lot that's going to be coming down the pipe here in the next couple of weeks. We're going to be releasing the campaign fundraising videos, just sort of telling our story, A to Z. Kyler and I, what got us into this, why we're doing this. We ask for your prayer and sort of your support and sharing just about what we're doing right now. It's very grassroots. We do plan to put some money into the advertising and the marketing and those kinds of things, but these early hours where, we have sub 10 viewers, that's not going to be that way forever. But in this time, the guys and girls who are here are folks who really appreciate what we're doing and have heard about us early on. And you guys mean a lot to us. And I want to make sure that we can. Nick Oldham, thank you, brother. Appreciate you financially supporting us early on. It really does mean a lot to us. Especially as we continue to go back to Jesus and pray and ask for direction and discernment on what we're supposed to be doing with this. Your encouragement helps us take that next step forward. Very soon we will have the opportunity for giving and a financial thing, but also prayer, just basic stuff, just basic encouragement, basic prayer.
Yeah.
We're really hopeful this project's going to get some legs soon.
The number one thing that people can be doing is, as my brother is working on some of the marketing stuff, we're actually going to have a 60-second look at one of the scenes from the film that's going to be coming out shortly, probably in the next 4 weeks or so. And one of the things that is the most valuable thing you can do is to tell people about what's happening. And so go and tell somebody that there's a project coming out about King David, and it's going to be done in an artistic way, in a quality way, and like we've never seen David before. Tell people that because then maybe they'll come, they'll like the page and they'll look into it. And if that doesn't work, tell them that Steve Shermett, amazing professional actor, will be performing in the role of Samuel with a full head of hair. It's going to be amazing. You're not going to believe how much hair he has on his head.
I heard him just a minute ago saying he's going to go meta. I heard him say that. So I don't know what that means.
Steve, if it comes down to it, I can out wrestle Caleb. Just so you know, I'm about 20 pounds heavier. So if it comes down
take martial arts, don't you?
We'll see.
Yep.
I think anything done on this project will be done willingly, of course. So we will not bend anyone.
Well, there you go. That's end of discussion.
Steve,
Awesome.
It's great to have you a part, and we look forward to future live streams. And I think we're all just kind of praying and asking for God to give us direction and discernment, like I said before. Thankful for the connections Steve's already brought to the table. Different agencies that we've been able to talk to and really plan for, and a couple distribution companies that we've had the ability to have conversations with. It's getting really exciting, but also we want to make the right decisions. So keep praying for that, everybody.
Yep. And I would say this, if I can give an ask before we go, we have two really important conversations coming up behind closed doors, Caleb and I. Both of them are conversations that are going to blow this project wide open. And so just to let you guys know, I feel like, a lot of people say these kinds of things whenever they're trying to start a project like this. These are conversations that if God would lead and if people would be willing, this would be a situation where this goes from we're really excited to hopefully be doing this project to get ready because it's happening next summer. And so we're very excited about those two conversations, and just pray that God's will would be done. If those conversations get shut down and it's a no, Caleb and I know that God will provide. If he wants this done, he'll provide. So that's what we would love to have your prayers for. And then Steve, did you have anything before we cancel out here?
Well, something I think we can ask our early supporters and our strongest of friends and fans, because not everybody will do this, but it's nice to like on Facebook. It's nice to make a comment, but how about you send the link or share to all your friends, or share to all the groups you're a part of that have anything to do with anything that might remotely be interested. And we could be an army of one, if you know what I mean. One person can reach out to thousands of people if they're willing to take 10 minutes on social media and post links everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One person could slay a giant, maybe even a small boy.
There you go.
The potential. The potential. I don't know how many metaphors I have, but I am a father of 3, and so we'll get into the nitty gritty as we do more live streams.
Yep. So just finally, just want to remind everybody, we are up on Redeem TV with our short film, The 10th. Please go and comment there, like it, and share it. You can. It has the ability, if you watch it, you see there's a little Facebook, Twitter, Instagram icons you can share out to those areas. We really appreciate your support and everybody getting behind us kind of in this season. Steve, we're so excited to have you on. Lots more conversation to come in the future. Okay.
Really
Thank you,
appreciate
brother.
you. Thank you.
We'll talk to you all soon.